Hi, I'm Daniel, and I'm an exercise enthusiast. And for the purpose of this video, uh, this is a pushing example of static exercise. The exercises in this workout are mostly ones that involve pushing or flexion. Uh, Bench press, overhead press, chest fly, neck flexion, abdominal flexion, any of the type of pushing or spinal flexions, anything involved pushing away from you. These are pushing exercises. And these are the static options that I have available to me. So let's go ahead and start the video. The first exercise I do is something I kind of copied and adapted from my gymnastics training. This is, I call it extreme shoulder flexion. This is also something that is used to help gymnasts prepare their shoulder angle to be able to do a handstand. So here, I'll let you see. In this exercise, what I'm doing is pushing the bar up and back. And this is an extreme shoulder flexion. I'm not trying to improve my handstand here. I'm trying to improve these little muscles right here. The deltoids get exercised, inroaded quite a bit on this too, but they are assisting the motion. The muscles in my upper back are the ones I'm working on here. So while that is going, I'm going to show you. This is a little bit about the problem. You can see in the first picture here, in the first picture, the gymnast is not able to, with their back flat against the wall, not able to get their shoulders to this position without arching their back, which will ruin not ruin, but make handstands difficult. You want to have that green angle before. So there are several, I hate how they call the words, but there are several assessments they used to do, still do, to determine where that is. And you can, as you improve this flexibility here, and actually the strength of these muscles are what kind of keep your shoulder angle in a handstand. So this exercise that I do, and just finished, extreme over it will help a handstand if you want a handstand. The next exercise is lateral raise and internal shoulder rotation. This is very similar to the Med-X or Imagine Strength lateral raise, and I'm going to show you the Med-X version. I'm trying to get my watch to start the right way. I used to use my Seconds Pro app on my watch, but a recent update made the audio not as good. I hope they fix that. Anyway, so the position you see me in here, I wish I could zoom in. I gotta figure that out. The position you see me in is very similar to the position in lateral raise, and I'm gonna show. We'll go back. You can see the position there is similar to the position I have here. When you get in, there's the position. Now that's the dynamic movement. So I'm kind of in the almost starting position, a little past it, about right about there. I keep hitting the wrong thing. So that is that exercise. And when I am done with that exercise, I want to stretch the muscle that I just exercised. I'm exercising or inroading the external rotators. I'm sorry, internal rotators. Internal shoulder rotators. So like pectoralis minor is one of those. There's other ones in the shoulders. So what I do is I take my shoulder horn. Now I just did internal rotation. I'm going to use my external rotators in my shoulders to stretch my internal rotators. So while this is technically a time static contraction exercise, this is not the ideal position to exercise your external rotators. I'm using them. So this would not technically be an exercise, and I'm actually only doing 50% effort here. These first few exercises are mostly rehabilitative exercise to get me ready for bench press or chest press. So this is similar to what I'm doing in that. So he's letting it stretch. He's letting the weight of the dumbbell stretch him, and then weight of the dumbbell stretch there. So it's kind of combining two things, stretching and strength, but not well. That would be the movement of this. So let's go forward a little. The next exercise will be chest fly. Come on, there we go. I'm going to let you see how I set this up. It is, I turn it around, that bar kind of goes right under the seat. And this is I used to put it on the sofa, but this is actually a little more secure. Kind of like getting into an astronaut seat or a flight seat. Anyway, this would be similar to cable chest fly because you don't have anything on your back. And I'm making sure it's side to side set right there. I just want to get everything set. Once I get ready to go, squeeze. And there we go. So this exercise is similar to cable chest fly. Right about there. That is the position I'm in. Right about there. This exercise, this chest fly is probably, this is one of my, like, right up there with seated row. This is my chest fly. I'll do a dumbbell one to stretch my shoulder a little bit, but not this time static contraction chest fly is what I do for chest fly now. It is awesome. So let's move a little more forward. I don't want you to have to sit with me the whole time. Then bench press. Get ready for 15 seconds. I had to use my toe to get started. So this is bench press or chest press. And I will show you with the famous Dr. McGuff, the MedX version. That is the motion that would be in the dynamic version of what I am doing. And the position I am is right about there. The elbow position is just slightly, maybe that's a little too far. Let's bring it back up. Yeah, right about there. That's the body position I am in there. And I'm trying to maintain the same effort that he would be at this point. You can see my position and that position. So that is chest press. Let's move forward. I'm going to try to make these a little, since I'm doing static and not moving, I'm trying to more commentary and then more show you the dynamic. So after this one, I decided to try an unusual exercise, and I'm not sure. Here, I'm going to pause this and show you this exercise first. Nautilus for quite a while had a machine called the 70-degree shoulder. It was basically a 10-degree chest fly with a different seat. It was not a well-designed machine. Bad performance, bad machine design, but it got me thinking of an idea for static. And I decided to try. This is, I'm not even sure what to call this exercise. This is a shoulder exercise. Here we go. Let's get into it. It's like chest fly, but you're in this angle. Shoulder overhead adduction. This transverse adduction. I forget what to call this. Anyway, this I'm testing this exercise. I do not see a decent static or dynamic way to do this exercise. Not yet. I don't know if it would be of any benefit. I'm doing it as a test for shoulder rehab, and this one I'm only doing 50%. I think I'd let the my audio prompt do 30, 30, 30, but for now I'm sticking with just 50% on any new exercise I try. This is an interesting one, and it was very. I'm probably going to keep it. I'm probably going to expand on it. I need to get different pads for that to work well, though. I will work on that. So this is shoulder exercise. I'm going to call it overhead adduction for now. Overhead fly? I don't know. I'm not sure. If you have any ideas of what to call this, this would be the motion, like this. So if you have any idea what to call that, let me know in the comments. Let's move ahead. Okay, after that, this was static dip. Now, when people are doing static dip, there is the one on the left. This is a support position. This is what gymnasts do when they're first learning how to support yourself. And you can see I did not last long on that static dip. I think about 35 seconds was what I got. I recommend starting off, if you have not exercised, start off in a static dip, just barely bending your arms. Try that. Eventually you want to get to where the guy on the right is. And you don't need to go lower than that. It's not necessary. And that's even maybe a little too low. But right about there is as far as you want to go. Static dip is an option for people who cannot dip their own body weight. Right now, on the medicine I'm on, dipping my own body weight and with my shoulders. Chins and dips before cancer treatment, I was able to do 7 or 8 chins. I did 7 chins after surgery. I was able to do about 8 or 9 chins before androgen deprivation therapy. Right now, I can probably get 1 or 2 chins, and I don't know if I can do a dip. And you'll see in the next video, I'm still struggling with squats. I'm going to show that. But for a static dip, you really do not need to go any lower. Let's go back. Right. That's a starting position for someone in static dip. If you're fit and you have been doing dips, you can go much lower. It's going to take me a while to get back there, if I can get back up there again. All right, let's go on to the next one. Quit tweeting. Had to take a big breather after the overhead press. This is my version of overhead press. So I'm going to show Dr. Bryce Lee. You should not be turning his head, Bryce. Come on. You knew better. There we go. There we go. See, he didn't turn his head. Now, don't turn your head. Don't turn your head. Ah, you turned your head. Don't do that. So he's talking about what, but you can see the basic motion of the overhead press here. Yeah, like he's talking about. I'm trying to achieve that same angle in this right here. Okay, let's move forward from that one. These are all 90 seconds, these exercises. This is a coupled movement arm tricep extension. If you can see, my arm is under one pad and over the other. I'm going to show you a coupled movement arm bicep extension. This is Josh Trentin. I think, am I saying that correct, Trentin? I'm not sure. The pad system on this is opposite of what mine is. And I do it, but I can make mine. But this is an ideal setup. This is how leg extension, leg curl works best. This is an ideal setup for working these type of exercises, not for working curl biceps, but for these types of movements, for these types of, whether as a movement or not movement, a static. The bracing system is what helps the bicep or the whatever muscle is being worked have more direct work. So mine, static, but the opposite. I'm pushing. The one pad is here, it's bracing, and I am pushing against this. So this one is bracing. Ideally, it would be about right here. This one is bracing, and I have my hand here. I tried it lower, but it didn't feel. It was only on my wrist and here, and that did not feel good at all. So I have it right about the pad right about here. It would be better if I could do this and have it on the flat surface, but this is good enough. So I'm going to bring back this video and let you see. This is the bicep. This is the opposite one, but similar type of concept. Okay. So let's go on. Last exercise. Med-X abdominal, or old design Med-X abdominal, I call it. So I'm using the rack as the setup for this device.
Get ready for 15 seconds.
And pretty much like the other one, you just slide in, get in position, arms on top.
3.
And before I start, I try to flex or tilt my pelvis under and push my lower back against the back pad. And similar to this exercise. Come back.
That's halfway.
There it is. So this would be the dynamic action, the dynamic motion.
3, 2.
And there's the static version.
For 30 seconds.
By having the knees apart, ideally, and the hip flexors unengaged, it's you only using your pelvis. This is a good way for people with back pain to do abdominal exercise, or people who cannot lie down on the ground. This will help. Yeah, it's hard to breathe. That's one of the things about waist exercises is breathing actually compromises muscular loading. And any waist exercise, well, okay, not any waist. Lower back is not as bad, but I'm trying to figure out ways to get around the breathing's issue. That was the last exercise. So on pushing, come on, get rid of this. On a pushing workout with static exercise, you push horizontal, overhead, vertical, and down, or up vertical and down vertical. Those are the three movements you want to try to accomplish. Getting everything stable is a challenge. Once you have it set, it takes a while to kind of fit into, like the abdominal exercise, and I've said this before, it takes a while, a couple of times to really get it, to really fit it, like a shoe. But once you figure it out, once you get it set, it works really good. The abdominal does. The tricep is, it, I don't really, probably won't do any other bicep or tricep exercise. The coupling system on that, I would like to find a way to take that coupling thing off and mount it on something else. That might be useful in the future, but for now, I have to deal with that bench, but I can still use the coupling. This is, again, these are all examples of static exercise and ways to use them similar to dynamic. I'm not saying static exercise is better. I don't think it is. I don't think it's any worse, or the only bad part about it is the lack of negative work, so less flexibility effort, or less flexibility training. Negative work maintains flexibility. That's just a thing. So if you're doing static exercise, you also need to do some flexibility training, like I showed on the internal rotation and then external rotation stretch, things like that. Ideally, you should do a stretch immediately after, if you're including the flexibility training in your workout. And I can, in the future, I'll probably show something like that. If you're trying to improve flexibility, do the exercise first. It kind of shuts down the dampening of range of motion, the neurological input that sets your range of motion and says, don't go any further past that. That is just a neurological input. Your muscle doesn't change shape, change form from flexibility training. That's not a thing. It doesn't do that. If it did, it's broke. You just ripped your muscle. That's the only form changing that's going to happen from stretching. Stretching means going beyond where you normally go. Some exercise devices and machines and exercise selections can do that. So you have to balance what that is. I hope these examples of static exercise, with whether it's big six, push pull, can give people some ideas for options in training they don't have at home. They may have some tools that are similar, close enough, and you can have. I have a pretty large static exercise fitness catalog. It's very big. In fact, actually, what I'll do is I'll copy it, and I'm going to put my static exercise catalog in this post. So I hope people can see this adds a lot of possibilities to what your a lot of tools you have with only a few things. A lot of exercises, a lot of you can see a lot of things you can do. I hope these ideas help. Hopefully, give you some direction. The big six. I hope people try that. I'd like to see people post static exercise big six, or at least any big six. So please leave comments about the ideas for names for that shoulder overhead adduction exercise. Thank you.